Let's go. Remembering Peace FM. Anytime you want to say something, Shapat, let's go.
And I want to emphasize that. I wanted to emphasize that because for years, we was on that radio show probably about a year straight. And all due respect, and may the Most High bless everyone on that show, we were met with much opposition from every side, not just from the enemy, but from our own people, simply because we were coming out of the Bible showing everyone that we are the children of Israel and that we're suffering the curses, and that we as a people must come together outside of these ideologies and religions that have destroyed our people. I mean, we've had radio stations, community services, and what have you since the beginning of our communities, and our communities have only gotten worse. Okay? How can we come together when you have people of the same ethnicity suffering the same curses but believe 100 different things? And that's my only issue with these types of, I thank the Most High for the forum, but I really want to emphasize us coming together under the truth that we are the children of God. And we've put it out there. I've seen people come trying to think that they can change this system politically, think they can change things by getting into Egyptology or any other religion, but still haven't realized that the majority of our issues is because, like Josh was saying earlier, that we have broken God's commandments. We have walked away from the Bible. And now the Most High is calling us back, all of us. He's calling us back to keep his commandments, and we're going to need each other. Okay? And I just wanted to put that out there. God just asked me to come to the show for a few minutes tonight, but I want to ask, what had changed from the time that we brought forth those prophecies and told everyone what was going to happen beforehand out of the Bible? Have that changed anyone's out there mind concerning the Bible? Is more people over there picking up the Bible, realizing that it's the only book that relates to what's going on in the earth today, and it's our only help, that the truth is in the word alone. And I'm going to ask you, God, to have more people begin to come back to the truth of the Bible that once rejected it.
Elder Rakar.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was
loud and clear.
Bless. One scripture comes straight to my mind when you said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read it for you if you don't mind, and you can break it down. Right.
Where are you going to, Ezekiel?
Second Esdras chapter 9. No,
okay,
in fact,
go ahead.
My bad. Chapter 16.
Yes,
yeah?
sir.
Chapter 16, verse 17 reads, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness.
Look at that. Look at that. See, and this, I want to say something real quick. So many people out there, Gaja, Shapat, and others out there, when they view something, they only view, the majority of people view on the surface. They don't view the Spirit of the Almighty working the whole time. And because we're so carnal, sold under sin, our people don't even realize when there's a phenomenon in the earth that the Most High will utilize to change everything. And guess what? I'm going to tell you this right now. And I'm not looking for myself appreciation or a thank you or anything else, because guess what? Everything that we suffer with negative views concerning this work is what the prophets suffered. When you read the Bible, folks, guess what? Our people rejected the prophets and those who were there, who was for their turn. So I take it as a badge of honor when what's good is being evil spoken of. I do, because they can only see with their carnal eye. They can't see some people traveling over the earth, total selfless people that's getting nothing. We would have a collection in England, and we would be blessed if we got 20 pounds off the donations there. And that's all we had. And then I hear Josh. I hear everybody else. It wasn't about anything outside of that spirit that have moved in the earth to help change our people's perspective. If anything, looking back, I hope everyone can see how the Most High work and never look through things through a carnal, evil, or negative eye. Because so many people like Josh and others, what were they? What were they doing before this truth came? Now, speaking of that, no one got more offended out there than those Muslims. Lord, Muslims were bold over in the UK. Were they bold? Let's go to 13 minutes. And that in itself was a phenomenon to me. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Gaja. Go ahead.
No, I'm just want to just if I can strengthen or add anything to what you just said before, right? Listen, this truth changed lives. Okay? Yeah. Changed lives. One or two, I know for me anyways, let me speak for me. One or two places I'd have probably ended up in probably a cemetery or behind a bar. You understand me? That's where it was headed. And it's not just for me. It's for a lot of brothers, a lot of these men that even in the truth, that still in the truth today. And even those who have left the war, it changed lives. You with me? It seriously changed lives. So it's like you said, the negativity, the bad talk, whatever. You get me? The greatest servant that walked the earth, man, they put him to death, and he was an innocent man. So who me? Who us? Who This is the thing. You understand? And I tell you what, man, I wouldn't change it for nothing. You with me? I wouldn't change it for anything at all. I just keep it going. I keep it moving. I had this conversation on the Sabbath with the virgin them that, yo, listen, the Most High didn't. Nobody is here because of their intelligence or how wise or no, man. The Most High, it's the Most High that chose. It's the Most High that called us. We now have the opportunity to either listen, to hear, or forbear. One of the two. We can either choose life or death. It's up to us. You understand? And you're listening to Josh right there, man. And brothers who stayed faithful. You with me?
Yeah.
Who kept their hands to the plow, regardless of adversities and obstacles. Yo, kept hands to the plow. Yeah. You with me? Listening to him there. I remember that night. That night was actually like about a year after we had actually started on Peace FM. That was a year and a little bit. Yeah. You were overseas, and we had gone back on Peace FM and started to bring it. I tell you what, there's people still right now coming into the church based off those broadcasts that we did almost over 10 years ago.
Praise the Most High.
To this day, there's people right now walking into the Amani Center saying, yeah, man, I used to listen to Brother Rakar and the brothers them on Peace FM. There's people walking in to this day, coming in right now.
Praise the Most High.
Because, yo, check it. A lot of things that were said then, people saw it, seen it.
Now they can't deny it.
Exactly.
Now they can't deny it. At one time, when everything was still it seemed as if it was still prosperity and upward mobility and opportunity. But everything now that our people has begun to be squeezed politically. They know that there's no political way. Anything the radio stations were pushing, they know none of those options are viable to help us out of our peril, our circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
So the people back then can see the urgency now because those seeds were planted, right? But I want to show this real quick, if I may, Gaja. Okay.
Sure.
Let's get to these Muslims. Let's get to some of them real quick. Let me see. That's 1358. Let's go back here. Let's see what's going on and what was happening over there. Fair use.
It's all for nothing.
Let me,
No
let me,
problem, brother.
let me give you Exodus
Is
3rd
it
chapter
Exodus
real
chapter
quick.
3?
I'm going to get it there. I need you to read the 13th verse for me real quick.
The book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 13.
Yes.
And Moses said unto God, Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel,
When I come unto the children of Israel, Yasha Allah,
and shall say unto them, The God of your fathers have sent me unto you,
go ahead.
and they shall say to me, What is his name?
What is his what?
What is his name?
What is his name? Read.
What is his name being proclaimed
What shall I
throughout
say
the
unto
earth?
them?
Go ahead.
Come on.
And God said unto Moses, I am that I am.
I'm what?
And that's me. Okay, a lowly me from the United States teaching a rabbi.
I am that I am.
I am that I am.
And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am have sent me unto you.
Now, what I'm going to do, so no one can say that we're mistranslating this, I'm going to the Tanakh. I'm going to read the exact same question that Moses had, because up until this time, he was only known as the Almighty God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? Hey, brother, just relax real quick. All right?
You've forgotten about Genesis.
Okay.
Genesis, how many times God mentioned?
Okay. Here we go.
It's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
He said he couldn't answer, and you're going to try to stop me from answering. Now, let me read this.
Me all night, but I'm not-
The God of your fathers has.
When I asked him, do we know the name, he had no answer at all. To show you the power of the Most High's name disturbing Amalek. If you don't know, just fall back, right? Let's go. Keep it moving.
Sent me unto you. I'm in the Tanakh now, the JPS
See?
Tanakh.
And I went to the JPS Tanakh, which is actually printed through the Jewish
What is his name,
publication
shall I say unto them?
society.
And God,
The Jewish publication. So I'm next to a Jewish person with a Jewish publication. So no one can claim they don't know God's name. Why haven't you told our people? Let's go.
God said to Moses, Aye, Ashar Aye. He continued.
Look at that right now. We have Hebrews till this day. Hebrews till this day who know this is in the Tanakh. Folks, I didn't find this myself. Understand this. It was through the Spirit of the Almighty. I learned about a Jewish Tanakh learning Hebrew under the old doctrine I learned and became a nine-shell general. So they even had this Tanakh, not just white Jews, black Israelites, black Jews had this Tanakh, but still refused to teach God's name. On top of this, at this same time, when the name of the Most High came out in 2009, 2010, when it became a conversation piece all around the earth, guess what? There was no videos on YouTube trying to refute or discuss what God name was or is, opposed to the pagan gods the Gentiles worship. Even IUIC, and I have to say that again, they was calling on Yahweh. and Yahweh Shai.
With the star of Moloch, mind you.
Hold up, huh?
With the star of Moloch.
With the star of David or the star of Moloch, Nathaniel. Because we all came from UPK together, but at this time, they was online saying his name was Yahweh Shai. I understand that. But after the Most High had us reveal the name, they switched and said no one knows the name of God. Christ will reveal his name when he returns. The law is higher than God's name, and started coming with all these scriptural gymnastics to avoid actually dealing with the truth of the name in the Torah. So it's not just other people of other races denying God's name.
Continue. Thou shalt you say to the Israelites, Aye, sent me to you. Now that's how you say it in the modern day English. But in the Hebrew, it says Al Maishah, which is Moses. Ahaya, Ashah, Ahaya in the ancient Phoenician. Ahaya, Ashah, Ahaya. Wa Amal Ka. So this is letting us know that the name was given to Israel is Ahaya in the ancient Phoenician, Ashah, Ahaya. That is the name of God Almighty. That's the God of our fathers. Now later on, when we went through the Babylonian captivity, brothers and sisters, what happened? We began to equate our God with the Canaanite God. And that's where we picked up the God Yahweh, which is really Baal, the calf. Yahweh, when you break it down, Yah is God or power. And Hava or Hawa or Hova is mischief, falling, wicked, very ruin. So when you break down the word Yahweh or Jehovah, it's the God of wickedness. It's Lucifer himself. There's only one name of the Most High God, Ahaya.
And guess what, folks? When that came out, even Israelites, Jewish people, not Jewish people, not really, because they know the name. They saying that it's blasphemy to say the name publicly. But Israelites started coming up with all these response videos and how it really mean the same. Ahaya and Yahweh and Yahweh is the same, or the name didn't matter. Right?
Then the third person became the king.
And then it became a third person. Oh, well, if you say Ahaya, that's him in the third person, and that's like speak. No, you can't speak according to the laws within the earth because the Most High isn't a person. He's outside of time and space. So he's not learning English with us. All right? So we got to get off that too. Well, he is and I am is really the same thing in the third person. Scriptural and language gymnastics, and like our people did in the past, denying the true name of God. Don't forget, we're the same people who, when after Moses did everything he did, people started a new camp, Levites, and tried to oppose the man the Most High gave the name to. The man who delivered them. No sooner as they got into safety, it was our people who began to defy the God who delivered them and began to build the golden calf, Yahweh, that they learned in Egypt at the Mount. At the Mount Sinai, it was our people worshiping Yahweh back then.
Ashah, Ahaya is his name. His son name is Yeshua, which means our Savior. So since they can't mention the name, that left an opportunity for us to say the name. And I'm glad he couldn't say it. So that they could no longer deceive the children of Israel who are now waking up to their true origin and identity.
Now, in the back of me, there's two different ethnicities there. One is an Arab, Islam, and another one was a Jewish guy. They came in together. Or maybe the Arab was an Arab Jew. I don't know what. Let me tell you. Now that I'm looking back at it, Gaja, I believe a lot of these guys were coming in and could have been allegedly agents. There was a. Go ahead.
That guy that's there sat beside the rabbi.
Yeah.
His name is Sami. No,
Okay.
He's an ex-Muslim that converted to Christ by reading the Quran.
Okay.
And he found out by reading the Quran that Christ was mentioned more in the Quran than actually Muhammad, and started to study the history of Islam.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, in the original video here, there's a guy comes in, another guy comes into the studio,
That's right.
but he doesn't say anything. He's the one that contacts the Jewish Defense League.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does that.
Now,
And we ended up getting over 5,000 complaints that night.
Now check this out. There was another guy came in and he tried to play us close. And he was an Arab guy, or he looked Arab, but he claimed to be under some type of Jew ideology. And he was seeking to siphon sisters under his doctrine. And he came with a whole Israelite doctrine where he was bringing sisters into other countries and stuff with him. That's why I'm like, y'all had a mixed bag at Peace FM of some weird Arab people operating in the spirit of the devil. But go on.
He came on. I think he came on with us on an interview one time. And he was like, yeah, man, you guys, the blacks are the children of Israel. He was actually concurring, but he was doing it, like you said, under a side, was really looking to bring people to him. He actually wrote a book and all that stuff. I remember,
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but yeah, he was Arab. He was an Arab guy from the Middle East.
That's
and
what
he
I'm
was doing
talking
that
about. It's a lot of these hacks who, because no one recognized them, they try to get recognition through the spirit of the Most High, this awakening. Like this guy who knows, let me tell you, there's no Israelite anywhere who know this guy, Vocab Malone. He's a hack. He's a guy who's trying to get notoriety off something moving, being a satanic spiritual culture vulture, and trying to get the recognition as the to tell all, to understand Israelites. And none of the groups and none of the people he's actually looking into know this guy. So that's how you know. When the spirit of the Most High is moving, guess what? If they're on the outside of it, if they can't co-op it, they'll connect themselves to it some way to get recognition. But this is something that, guess what? They can't stop or attach themselves to. It's the awakening of God's people. Let's hear some more. And guess what? This guy in the middle, Gaja, couldn't stop squirming for some reason.
He's a mental case, but I remember the.
Here you go.
JPS told my brother.
Oh, I know it very well. Sorry? What does it sound?
Does it say?
Yeah. I know it very well.
I had to get away from
Let's
this guy.
ask. Yeah? From this
Yeah.
verse. Do we just look at this verse? Or do we look at what's... Or do we look up to what's been there? So let's look at the first three words of the Bible. Bereshis, bara, Elokim. What is Elokim? God. What is Yud Kei Vav Kei? God. What is Kel Shaddai? God. What is Kel Rachum?
I thought he couldn't say God's name.
I said it with different obliterations. Listen to me, Rika. I said it with letters
Who's
missing
Rika?
because I'm not supposed to say his full name. So God has many
Who's Rika?
names. Right? No, I know what's written here. Yeah. Sorry? There's nothing to contradict because this is the word of God.
Hit the like button.
But what I'm trying to explain is, if he's saying there's only one God, one name of God, he's contradicting the Bible. Because there's so many names of God. Yeah. Yeah. Eheye, 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 Asher, Eheye. Yeah, for sure. Sorry? No. Eheye asher. Asher. Eheye space. Asher space. Eheye. Yeah. But the asher doesn't come into it. It's just Eheye. That's his name. There's no asher Eheye. It's Eheye. That which is known. That which is there. That's it. Yeah.
And it's confirmed.
Because there's a problem with the translation here. Because the word asher means which. Asher, that which. Eheye, asher, eheye, that. Yeah?
Now, I'm going to hear the end of this before we go to the next clip, right? But now you see why our people are so confused. Look who we were looking to for answers as a scriptural authority. Boy, I think the Most High, he woke us up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, listen. Look like this guy trying to search for the plug or something. I'm like, this guy was itching and scratching, coughing next to me. It was only through the Spirit of the Most High that I didn't get something that night. But let's go.
That's a small space too.
It goes Eheye, right? That's his name. Asher, which, yeah, Eheye. So there's no Asher in the middle.
This is my name.
Yeah, that's his name forever.
Eheye, yeah. No, it's not saying a name. Basically, what it's saying is that's what he will be known as.
In the Hebrew, it
But
says,
Moses
it's
was
my
asking
name
his
forever.
name,
Sorry?
though. Moses
Sorry?
asked him his name right
You're
there.
gonna tell me that Moses spoke, yeah, to God, face to face. And let's look at the very first.
Here we go.
No, I'm looking at the same verse. Vayomer Elokim, yeah.
Hit the like button,
And
brothers
God
and
said
sisters.
to him,
Hit the like
just
button.
before that,
We just
and
getting
God
started.
said to him, yeah,
It's about to get
El
heated.
Moshe, Eheye Asher Eheye. So what? There's 2 gods, there's 3 gods, there's 40 gods. But yet in Deuteronomy 6:4, God says, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Listen, O Israel, Hashem is one, God is one.
Okay, we got some
He
more
doesn't
phone
say
calls.
Eheye one,
Hey,
God is one.
Gotcha.
Oh.
The phone hung up. I can hear the phone here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going out first, bro.
Okay.
I'll be
You
5,
come
10
right back. Come back.
No
Yeah,
problem.
that's good. You get yourself relaxed.
No problem.
Yeah, he's going to have to take a quick break real quick. He'll be right back. That's beautiful. Well, what we wanted to bring out here, and matter of fact, my brother's still here. You're not on break, right?
No, I think we're going on the break.
Oh, no.
Are we going on the break?
No, we're going to stick in because I want to talk to you real quick. Come on. Here's a man, through the Spirit of the Most High, that we heard was once a Muslim
Yeah,
until you found Christ.
yeah.
Now,
I need y'all to understand the power of the Almighty. He would raise brothers out of nowhere, out of the hood, with the knowledge. And see, this is why the Most High says what? The wisdom of the wise of this world is foolishness with God. See, the Most High didn't want someone to have a title that they got on their own laurels, a bachelor or a degree, because you would have to give what? You would have to give the credit to the man who gave the degree to you. See, but if the Most High can give you the knowledge from a lowly state with no credentials, only he can be what? Only he can be recognized as the power who brought forth a servant. When you have these titles and papers and accolades, guess who gets the glory of actually bringing you into prominence? Your master who gave you the master's degree. And that's why the Most High says, the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. Now, am I a man for and by and love education? I will never cast aspersions on someone who've dedicated themselves to learn. But when that become your accomplishments, that's your accomplishment. But when the Most High raised a man from nothing, with no degree or no nothing like that, only he can get the credit for that. And he says that we will stand before magistrates and the wise. He have taken us from what? The lowly parts of Birmingham, Manchester, North Philadelphia, the streets of Chicago, and the whole world, since our people have awakened to the knowledge of Israelites, have stood up. The whole world, believe it or not, are watching, folks. It's to a degree where now everyone else is crying victim now, right? And I'm going to give an example. Now we're hearing there's a rise. You think it's a coincidence where now the Israelites have come to the knowledge of the truth? They're claiming it's a rise in anti-Semitism. And then when you see it online, and it may be, I don't know, I don't keep those records. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. No one should be harassed. But when I look at who people are claiming is doing something to people, it always points back to these Israelites. And I don't believe that Israelites should offend other people, but I think these two are mutually exclusive to some degree. But still, the run-in, it's more than a coincidence. At the same time the Israelites are rising, there's a rise. Now they're saying a rise in other people getting offended or being bashed or whatever for claiming their religion. Because now, since Israelites have began to acknowledge the truth, I believe now there's more pushback and questioning that wasn't happening before on the other side. I truly believe that. At one time, there was no question when it comes to who God was or who God's people were, Moses or Jesus. There was no question. None of these people, Europeans, had to answer any questions concerning that. But now look what has happened. Now let's get to the next one now. We're at now. Hit that like button because it's about to get good. We have some more clips. Do y'all remember this? Do y'all remember this on the streets of the UK? The streets of the UK. And Shapat and others, they were ready to go to bat. They was ready to go to war if need be. But I'm like, listen, back up. Let the spirit work. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
We're here in the last days to tell everyone that war is coming through the earth. And that we're in the last days on this earth. And that everyone needs to repent and come back to the true God of the Bible.
Birmingham.
Because all religion have turned to Satan. There's no line anymore. There's no line between right or wrong anymore on this earth. It doesn't matter what religion you're in. Even Islam. Islam, before Islam was Islam, before Muhammad was born, what was it called? Persian mythology.
Now, brothers and sisters, this is only a 6-minute clip, but I need y'all to see this. I'm speaking to a brother who was colonized and conquered under Islam like we were, as we were conquered and colonized under Christianity. Arabs are getting mad because I'm bringing a brother from under that particular religion. Now, that's none of their business. Why do they seek to keep us under their ideology? It's a form of spiritual bondage. That's why. So right now, I'm speaking to a brother. An Arab shouldn't come in and intervene and talk about Allah or anything else if I'm speaking to my brother. This is family business here. So let's see how this goes.
The only reason you know about Islam today is because you are part of the conquest when Muhammad stormed Mecca and took out all the gods and left 3 separate gods and started a conquest on Africa, converting your people into Islam. That's the only reason you know about it.
Excuse me? That's wrong. What 3 separate gods are you on about?
No, in a book called Satan Angels.
Now, there's an Arab putting a battery in my brother's back right here, behind him. Look at him.
In a white t-shirt.
Look at him. Here's another one over here. Now, they're not saying nothing initially. They have to trigger this guy to respond so that they can come in after they done got this guy going hard in the paint. They want him to be, he's the battering ram. He's the battering ram that opens the door for them. Now look on either side, frickin' frack over here. But guess who does it every time? Our own people. I'm there to help these guys. Because Christ said that we should be a light to the Gentiles. He's supposed to be on my side trying to get these guys together.
Just one rock in the coffin. There's 2 other stones. It was 365.
Every single one of them, yeah, to actually say something that these idols won't actually help nothing. The only reason the Arabs have prayed to them to have intercession to God through them. So even if they knew there was one God. The Arabs knew that was only one God. But they thought if they had this idol, they would have intercession to God. So that's why you're saying that 3 idols upon that, that's wrong. Even the Arabs themselves believe that there was only one God. And he's the only one that's supposed to be worshipped. That's what the Arabs believe.
But let me have you understand this.
All right.
Our people, which are Jews, didn't have 360 gods. We always knew there was
That's
one
true.
God. So listen. So I don't have anything to do with that. Because that ain't what my people deal with. My people didn't come up with Islam.
All right.
My people are the Israelites contained in the books of the Torah and the Tanakh.
Yeah, your people, the Jewish. Yeah.
I'm not Jewish. I'm not Jewish.
All right, but you're not Jewish.
I'm from the seed of Judah.
You're afraid that you're from the seeds of Judah. All right.
Yes.
All right. Do you know that your own people or your own religion don't accept you if your mother ain't Jewish? Do you know that?
What scripture is that?
Do you know that?
No, I'm asking you, what scripture is that?
I don't know. Ask them. I'm not Jewish. I'm Muslim.
I don't know. Ask them. Hosea 4:6. If you don't know, what gives you the authority? What gives you the authority to assert an opinion? That's what's wrong with our people, but go on.
And it speaks to something you mentioned earlier with the clip from the Jewish Confessions. Lord, that was fun putting those clips together.
Oh yeah, it was Shapad who actually edited the original Jewish Confessions that YouTube won't allow on their platform anymore. But go on.
But you made a point when that small clip from there was playing about, them losing their power or authority now, right?
Yeah.
Yet a completely, as it would appear, or they would want you to believe, a completely different religion funded or coming from a different race of people. Yet they are still, he said his words, what did he say? Go ask them.
Go ask them.
So he is still, and by extension Islam, is still under the authority.
Who believe that under Jewish authority is where you go to get answers.
Right.
If people miss his premise that I must be a Jew. I can only be a Jew if my mother's Jewish. When even the Bible tell you that the lineage comes through the father. But he's saying that in order for me to be a Jew, I must go to rabbis and confirm how they're Jews. And he's under Islam. Right? So there's other reasons when it comes to that. All right. It's more of a cultural reason why they say, right, that you, if your mother's a Jew, then you're a Jew because it's cultural. It's the woman who transfers what? The culture and the tradition to the next line of children. So they give the woman the status because she transferred the culture and the tradition.
I heard some alleged other reasons too.
There are other reasons that I don't want to discuss.
It's a family show.
But I'm just going to deal with it from a cultural standpoint.
Right.
And you know, some must sad as well. Though.
Yeah. But you understand, and we have to really be careful with these platforms and how we state things. So I'm trying to be as vanilla as possible.
Right.
Back then, even though it's still in me, back then, I didn't need to bite my tongue. Right? But I understand the importance of getting the message out. And I have enough tact and know-how to be able to get the same message out without offending others. But go on.
No, what I'm saying is that it's just watching this clip. There's that there even in for our people in the UK in that are in Islam, right? They are like second class citizens. So to see this young man come out right now trying to defend a bunch of Pakistani Muslims is crazy. You with me?
Yeah.
Because they don't accept him as a brother. If you remember that show that we had, Elder, when that brother came in, black man Benjamin that was into Islam. Them Muslim boys showed up and totally denounced him.
Yeah. They disrespected him. Here it is. He's working to actually uphold and give credibility to an Arab religion. He's in there fighting his own brother for them. But no soon as the Arabs came in, they disrespected him by saying, this guy has no place of an authority to defend Islam. The real defenders are here. They pushed him to the side like he was dirt in front of him. Oh, you got a black guy. He really don't represent. He don't represent what we're talking about. And it was him fighting us.
And I tell you what, man, he was more
Right?
knowledgeable than all of them.
Yeah, he went in and did more history and had more knowledge. Even spoke some Arabic. He had more knowledge of the Quran than they did. But they dismissed him solely on the color of his skin. The fact that he was black puts him what? Under their authority, who have no knowledge at all concerning the religion he was defending. He had more knowledge, like you said, Gaja, than they did. And guess what? They still didn't respect him. A lot of people don't know, folks. Even Farrakhan, all due respect to him, I think Farrakhan have done some great things. He's not respected in the Muslim world. And he's more so a political figure than an Islam respected figure overseas, because they're saying this brand of Islam was created in America. So it doesn't even get any level of credibility over in the Middle East. They don't respect black people outside of being under them when it comes to that religion. Allegedly. And now I can't say allegedly. Hold up. I was there and recognized it. I seen how the Sudanese over in Egypt and other areas are still treated like second-class citizens strictly because they're from the Sudan. I've seen people in Africa come over there and have to watch how they say and all of that around other people. I'm like, man, y'all, they need a civil rights march over here. But guess what? You know what? I give them, when I was over there, I gave them some straight get right every time. Because soon as they would think I was from an African country and all that, and they would hear me speak, and I would deal with them, and I'd be like, well no, you're getting this wrong. I'm gonna tell you how things are gonna go with my life, okay? And you know what? It was total respect. As soon as they would hear the English language from America, and the fact that I stood in authority not looking down like being afraid like the Africans in the Middle East. They backed down. And folks, this is what the nations feared. They feared the courageous power of a lion of Judah. This is what they've been trying to withstand or hold or stave off for a long time.
Trying to suppress.
Because don't forget, Gaja, the Bible stated that we would lose our courage. That we would actually lose our courage. That subconsciously we would feel inferior. So when they see a black man walking around in the Middle East not fearing anything, that's a sign to them. So I'm gonna tell you. Let's finish hearing this. You say something you want, Shabbat. Let's hear it. So guess what? This is what the Arabs over in England got twisted. Because they went over in England. Folks, what they're doing here in America, I knew what they was going to do because I seen the social engineering in England first. I'm like, who gave these people power to think that they can step to our people? You step to our people in America like this and you'll get crushed. The only thing you do is what? That's right. And all due respect to everyone else, guess what? You bake that naan bread and you go sell incense and oils in the United States. You're not coming over trying to actually get on a corner to refute Judah in America without fearing your well-being. So that was a new phenomenon with me seeing these Arabs running around with scarves on as if they were intimidating somebody. I was looking at the twins. I look at the brothers like, what happened over here? I remember in the 80s and 90s, Jamaicans would come over to the United States and would be a terror. People were afraid of Jamaicans. Oh man, the Jamaicans, they got this corner, they got that area. When you heard Jamaican, and I'm talking about during the drug time and all that, blacks in America understood when Jamaicans came on the scene, they meant business. So when I went over there, I seen a different spirit. But you know why? Because they began to multiply in number, which gave them what? Political advantage to push back against us. They were sent there to take the warrior spirit from Benjamin, the way they were sent here to America to take the lion down. But they got the wrong one. Let's go. Go ahead. Let me hear you.
Just before you play that, right?
Fred, come on, hit that like button. We going in.
My dad, right?
Yeah.
My dad was part of the Pan-African movement. He was one of the founders of the Pan-African movement in the UK in the 70s, right? Late 60s, early in the 70s. And what they used to do, they used to go out on the street, not advocating this for anybody, just putting it out there what they used to do. They used to get slingshots with marbles in it and go for the cops. They were studying military training, martial arts, all of that stuff back in the 70s. But like you said, the Asian population came in and got into politics, part of the police force, multiplied exponentially in the areas and took over a lot of the areas that belong to Benjamin, Afro-Caribbeans, how they were living in the UK. And that's what we're seeing. That's a direct result of what we're seeing right now on this video of how they have been able to infiltrate the communities with me and bring the mosque into it and all that. A few years ago, me, Yahushai, Takunda, I think two other brothers, I can't remember, I think it was Dominic. We went into a Muslim area with street preaching, and it almost got physical. About 2 weeks later, these same Arabs that we saw there came into Mossad, where we were, and you know how that went. We said, "Yo, listen, you need to leave now." And they had to just pack up and go, because we can't come into any community that's run by Muslims and try and bring any other god except Allah. But you will come into our community and pillage the Muslims, the Korean church, all of them come in there. The white Christians, Jehovah's Witness, everybody will come into our communities and pillage. But we can't go into their community. And no Christian evangelist or Israelite can go into a Jewish community and not get arrested or worse.
And that's just around. So there's a double standard there. You can have 17-year-old so-called elders, Elder Bob and Elder George from Utah, riding bikes, asking black people in the inner city, "Have you heard the good news of Joseph Smith?"
Mm-hmm.
The Church of Latter-day Saints, Jehovah's Witnesses, now the Asian philosophies. Everyone can come and push another religion amongst us, but how dare our people go into their neighborhoods and push what we believe? Mm-hmm. Just imagine an Israelite going into the rural white areas and ask, "Have you heard the true gospel of the Black Christ in the name of Ahia?" Okay, and would you like to be baptized in the name? Just imagine if we were to go. See, but listen, that's how disrespectful they are to us. That's how That's how divided we are religiously. That anybody can come in and pillage, but yet we can't come into an Arab neighborhood and say, an Arab community or East Indian community and say, "Well, listen, we're setting up a synagogue here or a Sabbath service here." We can't go into their areas, but they can go into our areas and set up mosques, temples, Buddhist temples. That's how defeated we are.
It's
yeah, but go on.
It's even worse. In the UK and the States, it's not just the religion. You go into, you want some soul food, you want some hard food, the yams, you want some hardo bread. Guess who owns the quote-unquote Jamaican store?
Don't tell me.
Guess who owns the Jamaican store?
Who owns the Jamaican store?
It ain't no Jamaicans.
It's not Jamaican.
Are you kidding me?
It's Chinese. Again, no knock on any race, okay? And it's business is business. You move into an area, it's like, oh, it's open game for us.
Yeah, man.
And guess what?
Chinese are selling hardo bread, yams, green banana.
Yo, listen. In
Jamaica.
In Mossad, right? In Mossad, Manchester, right? In Mossad, Manchester, all the Jamaican shops that sell Jamaican food are owned by non-Jamaicans.
Mad.
Every one of them.
And but you know what? But I'm gonna tell you. And this is why they've put all these laws in place. Because when our people realize that we've been blocked out fully out of the monetary system to be able to progress as a people, all Hades are going to break loose. This is why we see these riot films for the future and all that, because our people don't realize that they are politically blocking us out from being able to actually rise above our impoverished state. There's only so much money to go around. And if you have Arabs coming in, East Indians coming in, Asians coming in, setting up businesses under the guise and umbrella of black and brown, then how much is left for the people who actually built the country? So eventually we're going to realize we've been conned by these so-called politicians. They've leveraged these other people from the other countries and others to actually squeeze us out of position, to squeeze the life out of us financially. And you know what? And I'm going to say this. Guess what? Allow them to. Let them. You know why? Because I believe at this time, and I believe the Most High have set these circumstances where there'll be no other choice but to turn to Him. There'll be no other choice because they're not going to allow anything else. So now at the very end, we're going to have to come together or what? Fall. But we're not going to come together under being black. And that's why I wanted to go back to this Peace FM thing, because I was telling them years at a pro-black radio station that we're more divided in this radio station than we were. We were better off coming off the slave ships in chattel slavery because we all knew who the enemy was and we all believed the same God.
And just to add on to that, Elder,
Yeah.
Peace FM was the first black-owned terrestrial radio station in the entire UK.
Wow.
First black-owned and run radio station, terrestrial radio station. It was a groundbreaking platform. When you came on, I think Peace FM had just gone 1 year, or going into the second year of being in operation. You understand me? So I looking at it now, the people there, they didn't know, they had no idea what to do with it. You understand?
Yeah.
This is the first time I'm getting something like this ever. You understand? And they don't know what to do. All they can think about is, okay, we need to keep a dance party or a block party here. We need to, we need to have some programs going on here, and we need to, it was never ever about coming together. And I have learned that the hard way, dealing with our people, that listen, all the ideas are there. People talk about we can have banks, we can have all of these things, right? But the only way it will work is unless everybody has something higher than themselves that they are accountable to. It's not blackness, it's not Egyptology, it's not any ideology, any religion. Because why? If it was that, then we would have been back operating. It all boils back down to us coming back to the truth, and that's the missing. That was the glue, Elder, that I saw when the truth came. Listen, we can't make it work unless we come back to this. We have to have something that's greater than us, that we are all held accountable to. The laws of the Most High, who we are as a people. There's nothing greater than that.
Yeah.
You understand? That's what it is. And that's why, and like you said, let until when everything dries up, when everybody, every society, every nation of people has taken everything and we have nothing else to go to, then maybe that's when we will look and go, okay, then all right, then what can we do amongst us? What can you do? You're a carpenter, all right, well, I'm a plumber. What, you a mason? All right, let's build together then. Are you, a farmer? All right, cool. What are you, a midwife? All right, cool. We have no recourse now but to just operate and be amongst us under that discipline of the Most High.
Let me tell you, it comes down to, for those who want to come together, we're going to be forced to work together under the Almighty. This is what brings the circumstance, the societal circumstance is a phenomenon by God himself, forcing us to deal with each other. Because we have more respect for the nations who destroyed us than we do for each other. That's number one. Or you can get down with the get down to only survive for a time. And the only way you can get down with the get down is agree with the status quo. All the money, especially in the Western world, is going for one minority group and one minority group only, and that's LGBTQ. If you're a brother who wants to survive for a time in this society, you're going to have to put on a dress. Or at least say you have no problem putting on a dress.
Or celebrate those that do.
And I'm going to tell you, and I'm saying this, let me tell you, listen, I told people when Juneteenth first happened that this has nothing to do with black people. Listen to what I'm talking about in the midst of so-called Juneteenth, where they want to talk about slavery. You have to realize they sought to put a wedge in between what? The Rainbow Month, celebrating gay pride. So how do you get black people on board? And how do you keep it going after people get tired of it after 15 days and saying, this is a little too much, a whole month? Well, you put black people in the midst of it, where it breaks it up a little bit. And then after we talk about black people, let's get back to its reigning men. And that's really what it's about. What it's really, they had to merge us in the middle of it so that people don't say, well, hold up, a whole month celebrating what? Someone's sexual preference? Where is the 1 month that we celebrate family, traditional family pride for a whole month? Did that ever exist? I'm sorry, but go on.
Elder, sorry, forgive me and pardon my ignorance.
Yeah.
But what is June?
Juneteenth is some bogus holiday where they're trying to now go back to the celebrated blacks in America who dealt with chattel slavery and what happened, to go back and revisit some of the tragedy that happened to us and celebrate the fact that, well, okay, here's a holiday that we're going to give you to acknowledge what blacks suffered, children of slaves in America. But they're doing it in the midst of Gay Pride Month. And then, guess what? The other day, I have videos. I'm going to show this on Patreon Friday. I'm coming back for you Patreonies. I didn't forget you. Let me tell you. Now they got gay people, white people and all that celebrating Juneteenth, and there's flags in the back. It was never about black people at all. They used black people as a placeholder in between to break it up, to restart it for the second half of the month, the Pride Month. So listen, people can celebrate what they want. I have nothing to do with that. But how can you have a whole month? And guess what? When they gave black people in America the Black History Month, they intentionally gave people the coldest month of the year, where no one is out doing anything anyway. And then on top of that, they made sure it's the shortest month of the year. The coldest and shortest month is Black History Month. Who's doing something in the cold of winter, February? But when everyone is out celebrating warm weather after being locked in all winter, you're going to give the bulk of the summertime to gay pride? But I digress. Let's get back to this. I'm going into this Friday. Juneteenth has nothing to do with our people. They can take Juneteenth and shove it. Okay? Because the people in America, our people who are suffering, getting put out, we're getting evicted, we're in tent cities. Our people don't want no day in America. You want to do something for black people? Don't give them a day. Give them reparations. Give them reparations. When that happened over there in World War II, Holocaust, guess what? It wasn't about giving. It would have been nice for them to give Jewish people a day or a month. But you know what? They were satisfied with being Holocaust survivors and getting paid for the Holocaust. Getting paid for suffering under what? Under a government initiative to destroy them. So no more symbolic gestures anymore for our people. Our people are getting put out. We're suffering. And then you're sending in other people to take the jobs that are left. And there's no place to turn for a black man to advance anymore. So no symbolic gestures, because the people who controlling the money that comes through those gestures aren't us and are not dealing with our persuasion. Mm-hmm. It's another way of siphoning money to those who are tearing us and destroying us in our inner cities. But I digress. Let's get the rest of this, because I'm going to open up the calls for a second.
Listen, brother, again, listen. If you are trying to compare what we're teaching to the Jewish people, listen to me. If you're trying to compare what we follow to the Jewish people, we will never come on one accord, because we don't follow what the Jewish people follow. We follow the Bible. Listen, the Jewish people don't follow the Bible. They don't follow the Torah or the Tanakh. So I don't care what the Jewish people are doing.
Allegedly.
If you want to find out what we're following, you have to ask me.
You believe this? There's only one God. You believe that there's only one God that's supposed to be working?
Yes.
You believe that?
Yes.
And when no intercession, none of that. He doesn't have no son. He doesn't have no father. He's the only one.
What I'm trying to have this brother understand is that Judaism is separate than being an Israelite. Under the religion of Judaism, they're seeking a Messiah outside of whom we know is Jesus Christ in the Bible. So I'm just making it plain and clear here. This is where this guy getting confused. He's getting confused. He's an Israelite, not realizing that I'm there. I'm here to deliver the truth of him concerning the heritage that's lost. And the only thing he can do is start speaking about some other people.
Also,
Go ahead.
Also, it goes back to the authority of the Jewish people. Even when he's trying to uphold Islam and being a Muslim because of discrepancies in whatever discrepancies he has towards Judaism or what they teach.
Yeah.
Right? But there's still, he's contradicted himself with what he believes, because he said in response to you questioning him or about the history of Islam that there's always only ever one God, and that rock was like an intercessor for their prayers.
Yeah.
If you remember, if you go back and play the clip, right? But now he's coming back in an attempt to try and remove Christ's function and say there is no intercessor for God. So which one is it? Does the rock intercede between man and God?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's okay under Islam, but Christ cannot intercede for us to the Most High.
That's a great point. And another thing I would like to add to that. I need y'all to check this out, folks. I've been all around the world. And I'm saying this to say this. You could never find in any community where there's two arguments against two separate ethnicities, where the Arabs would actually come in to argue against the blacks that are there. Usually, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're in the Middle East and there's an argument between a black man and an Arab, with the Arabs who don't even know what's going on, and they automatically take sides to find out what's going on with the Arab guy to go against the black guy. And that's not just Arabs, blacks. That's with any ethnicity. If there's a Chinese man arguing with a black man, guess what? If there's some Chinese people walking down the street, they're not seeking to find out what the argument is with the black guy to show the black guy's point. That's the twisted mindset. That's the twisted curse that have happened to our people. We automatically stand on the side of our oppressors to find a reason to attack our own people. And that's a phenomenon that doesn't exist anywhere in the earth. I've been everywhere. Automatically, if there's some Arabs there, and I'm standing here saying our people are the people and we need to come together, that brother was supposed to sit and observe and say nothing. And do what? Even if he didn't understand, because he didn't know anything, he should have chose the side of his brother. And that's what's wrong with our people, folks. Because other nations, they choose the sides of their brothers and sisters first, then ask questions. They ask questions later, but initially, they choose the side of their people. That's the twisted mind that's in a cursed people.
And contradict themselves along the
way. And totally stumbling all over the place with no knowledge at all. But he needs to show the Arabs he's willing to argue for them.
One, creator of everything. You believe that?
Do I believe what?
He's the only one, the creator of everything. You believe that?
There's only one God. Yes.
There's only one God. You believe that?
Yes.
You believe that?
Yes.
You're right. Why does your Bible say every single one of us is son of God? Why?
Listen.
Why does your Bible say that?
Do you want an answer?
Eats.
He said, listen, every one of us, he's pointing to the Arabs behind him. But if he go into one of those shops that was incentivized to siphon money out of the community that's owned by these same Pakistanis, Indians, and Arabs, you know what they're saying? If he go into a shop and say, yeah, I need to become partners with you, they'd be like, listen, I got a partner for you. Over there in that corner, you see that? That's a broom and a dustpan. Come on in, partner.
Please.
Hold on.
I need myself.
Do you want an answer?
Need myself.
Do you want an answer?
I logically.
Do you want an answer?
Tell me.
Okay.
Has it been changed? Has it been corrupt?
Okay, I'll wait till you finish. Go ahead. No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me when you finish.
I'm finished.
You want to know why it tell you that all people are the sons of God? Because the Most High is the Father.
All right.
Wait, no, listen. We are the creation of the Most High, which makes us
All right.
His sons.
Okay, so I'm God's son.
trying to say God's got a wife? No, you saying that. Huh? Listen, you saying
You see what happened? After putting the battery in his back, now here they come.
that. You saying that. Listen, they can say it all they want. I can ignore that. Go ahead.
Excuse me. This book, what was the first?
Listen.
What was the first language sent by?
Listen.
What was the language taught by the Hebrew? By the Hebrew, right? Hebrew, right? So in this book right here is being translated. Do you know Hebrew?
Yes.
You know Hebrew?
Yes.
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 You learn Hebrew.
Yes.
You text from
And
the
I teach Hebrew. Yes.
You teach Hebrew.
Yes.
So why the heck do you say that some of the words in Hebrew language is the same word in the Bible? Do you take that? Some words is not the same. The translation may be corrupted. Maybe in time people thought,
Let him talk. Let him talk. Go ahead.
maybe in time people thought, yo, this ain't helping us. This ain't helping us. Oh, I gotta pray. I gotta worship God. I gotta worship God. Oh, I can't do that. Let him change it. How many books in the Bible? There's 360 versions of the Bible, and each one of them has been changed. What was the
See
reason?
smiling in the background?
Yeah, he said that there's many versions of the Bible. And don't have enough sense that there's over 19 versions of the Quran.
That's the English translation, mind you. Of the
Yeah. Over 19 versions of the English translation of the Quran. But yet he's sitting there doing what? Using their talking points. Talking about versions of the Bible. There's versions of many books, including the Quran. And
You put all the languages together, there's hundreds
yeah.
of versions of the Quran.
what this guy's I'm talking about different versions altogether of the Quran. But yet they're arguing the different versions of the Bible. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And what does that got to do against the wisdom in the book? If there's different versions and there's precepts that can help better your life, what difference does it make? That's just a reason not to go into it and stay stuck on what? Silly.
Hey, brother, listen to me clearly.
I have no fun on none of that.
Listen. If you want an intellectual conversation,
I'm having an intellectual conversation.
No, you're not.
You're having a conversation with yourself because you haven't let me answer one
You
thing.
haven't told me one logical thing about this. You
Have
haven't
you let
told
me talk?
Say something,
All right.
man. Say
Show
something.
me one thing that was translated
I
wrong
don't
in
know
the
your
Bible.
Bible. You're the one
Now,
that knows
so
your
how
Bible.
can you say it's corrupt?
I don't know your Bible.
How can you say it's corrupt?
I ain't saying it's corrupt. I'm saying it's been changed. I believe in the Bible. I believe it's been said in the Bible. I believe it's said in the gospel. I believe that. I believe that, B. I believe that.
At this point, you will be ignored because you just made a statement that the Bible is
believe it.
corrupted, but yet haven't shown one thing that was. Now, I can show you out of the Bible that the Bible is true and it's above all books on earth.
Forget the wheel.
Well, bring us the information right here.
I'm not trying to keep a name. I'm trying to keep a name.
Rastas.
Research these people right here.
I need y'all to see what was going on. From Islam to Rastas to rabbis.
Your own people that can help you gain reproof.
Isaiah 34:16.
No.
Hey, folks, everyone we're running into is claiming that something is wrong with the Bible. The Jewish rabbi, something is wrong with the Bible. The Arab, something is wrong with the Bible. Rastas, something is wrong with the Bible. Why? You know what? Something would be wrong with the Bible in a satanic world. Obviously. It must be something to this Bible if everyone who claimed to be spiritual is against it. I need y'all to think about this. No one is going against the Torah that the Jewish people deal with or the Tanakh. No one is going against the Quran. No one is going against what the Rastas had. And they got all types of madness going on. They believe the 12 tribes is based on your horoscope. And the Most High forbid if you're born on the middle to in between one of the tribes. I'm part Benjamin and part Levi. What, your father, mother? No, I was born September the 15th. I'm part October. Listen. I'm part Manasseh and I'm a part Ephraim. What do you mean? What your father's is Ephraim? Well, no. I was born October 23rd. I'm between Libra and Scorpio. Simple, out of their mind, folks. I go in and try to teach people who are Rastas, and when you open the door, a cloud of smoke. Listen, the mass is thicker than a person. You got to walk through almost a person, pushing back smoke. A smoke so mass that it feels like you're walking through a person to get in there. Everyone got red eyes. And I'm like, what the Hades? Y'all got me in here. And he says, you're from the 12 tribes, Ma. I'm like, yeah, what month were you born? October 8th. Okay, you must be Ephraim. I'm like, what? This is what we're dealing with here.
Isaiah 34:16.
Listen, just in the same place you come, in the same place. Read it.
Isaiah chapter 34.
They go lawyer.
Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. We don't care about the Egyptian book of the dead. We don't care about any Ethiopian book because the Ethiopians are not our people. We are the children of Israel. Right. We're seeking out of our book, the Israelite book. We're not looking from this, looking at this from a religious angle. This is a historical book of our
your
people.
own book says.
Read.
Your own book says. Just
Isaiah chapter 34, verse 16.
Just read it.
Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. We will not seek anything but the Bible.
That's it.
Read. None of these shall fail. None of the Bible prophecies will ever fail. The condition we're in right now is written of in the Bible. Right.
Are you children of Israel? Are you children of Israel? Yes. Are you
You
children?
cannot make the Bible with any other book.
Are you
It stands
children of
alone.
Israel and Ethiopians?
But the Christians and the pagans have used the book deceitfully to make you think the book is not real.
We're in Leeds right here, right?
The
Yeah,
people
nothing
of
is happening on
Ethiopia,
this
the
little
people of
strip
Egypt, I
before
want
it
people.
comes
I want people them be.
It was totally empty on this block until we started teaching. I told everybody there, watch the activity that happens here in no time. Let me tell you, they was coming from behind trees and everything over there.
Our future is in the Bible. There's no facts in the Bible. I can show you a fact. Go to Deuteronomy 28. Hold up. He said there's no facts in the Bible. Absolutely, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I'm just having a bet. You don't put the camera on me. Yes. I'm Hebrew because all the family was Hebrew.
King.
I'm an Israelite because I'm named after our father Jacob. Right. Yes. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I'm not dealing with Haile Selassie. I'm not dealing with Ethiopia. I'm not dealing with Afro-Zionism. I'm dealing with Ethiopia.
Watch out.
We are the children of Israel.
No.
Get your point across.
Argument is the only power, Marcus Garvey said. Marcus Garvey said argument is the only power. That's why Fatima tell you don't argue them. They fast up because it's not Fatima.
You know when you argue, the devil wins in this. When you argue, amen. Listen.
King.
Hey, brother, in order for us to get to the positive things, let me tell you, brother, we have suffered the curses contained.
Who's we again?
Another rabbi, Peace FM.
The children of Israel.
Okay.
And I'm going to
That's
identify.
both of us. Right?
Uh-huh. Well, we'll see. We're going to look at this process of eliminations. Deuteronomy 28.
I'm married, you know.
Okay.
I've had all these problems.
Bless you, brother. All right, when you read the 64th verse, it says, "And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people,
Okay.
from one end of the earth, even
That's me over in England teaching a rabbi, folks.
unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which thou neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even, and at even thou shalt say, would God it were morning. For the fear of thine heart, wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see." Now here's the key prophecy here. "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships." Egypt means bondage. "A second time with what? Ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you." And that buy is old Quaker English, which means redeem or save. Now, according to history, there's only 3 families in this earth that I've known on this earth that went through this curse, was sold in the belly of ships on auction blocks, and no man have redeemed them till this day. So if I'm going to call myself a Jew from Judea, I must relate to the curses. When you look at the book of Josephus,
Was he Jewish?
he was a Jew.
Okay.
Okay? He was a Jew. Pharisee stock, actually. And, okay,
Holy Jew.
okay, all right. When you look at the book of Josephus, it tells you about the Jews that not only were captured by the Roman Empire and were thrown in the arenas. It speaks about the Jews that ran into the Atlas Mountains and hid themselves amongst the dark races in Africa. Now let's make this clear. It would take black people to hide amongst black people. And if that's the case, those Jews that ran out of Judea in 70 AD were black. Now that's number one.
You know, they say Moses, I was a child in school and we learned the Bible.
Go ahead.
We were told Moses' wife was black.
Not only Moses' wife, Moses himself was black because he
must have been pretty dark.
He was raised. He was raised.
There you go.
He was raised second
But you know,
to the Pharaoh.
if you go around the world and you find Jews, if you go to India, you find Jews who are very Indian. If you go to Africa, you find Jews who are very African. If you go to Sweden, you find Jews who are very Swedish. So Jews sort of like take on the country they're in.
No, that's impossible. And
I'll show you Indian Jews and black Jews.
Brother, that's totally impossible because you're still going through conversion. Like, I'm going to give you an example. I know some black people that been living. There's black Eskimos who have been living in Alaska. You know what I mean? Over 1,000 years.
Right.
And they have yet to turn white. All right? So we're going to get out of that climate thing to say that the climate is changing hue. All right? And I know Caucasian people that lives in Africa and have been there for hundreds of years and have yet turned black.
Yeah,
No, so let me tell you,
Yeah.
you are correct in the term that there have been conversions into Judaism of all nations. But that do not identify the people who are suffering the curses. Now, I want to bring it back to the curse right here.
You're into curses, aren't you?
Now, because I'm going to show you something, brother.
Yeah.
Not that I'm into curses.
He says, you're in the curses, aren't you? See? And this is the disrespect we get. This is disrespect. Because everyone wants sympathy when it comes to their plights and what others have done to them.
Right.
But yet, when I go into the curses, not to get sympathy from him or acknowledgement, but to say, listen, we're taking back our true ethnicity to follow God. And as a what? As a result of that, our people and the whole earth would be in better case. If our people who are blacks and others follow the law, there'll be less criminality for all people across the racial spectrum. You wouldn't have to fear black people robbing if all of us believe thou shalt not steal or kill or commit adultery. Or would you like us to continue under the curse so that you can look at us as less than? So it has more to do with the acknowledgement of that sign of who we are than the curse itself. See? See, and this is why I have to level set some of these people on these broadcasts, folks. And guess what? A lot of things that was said in between commercials, guess what? YouTube or any other place couldn't air it. Because these same people know when to speak when it says on air. If he was to acknowledge what he acknowledged during the break, guess what, folks? That thing would have been shut down. He acknowledged to me that he knew we were Israel. But guess what? When the on air come back on, he would go right back into I don't know mode. And one time, Gaja had to call him out. Everything that I was saying, this guy was shaking his head, but because it was radio, they couldn't see that he was agreeing. And God just said, well, hold up. You're shaking your head. Do you agree with what this man is saying here? Because I see you shaking your head. And that's the only way he acknowledged it. So he was even tactful enough to, if he agreed, to let the people in the studio knew what he agreed, but would not convey it to the public. That's how tactful this guy was.
Hey, Elder, you remember after the broadcast, he said to us, the problem here is, he said it's crazy. I remember it like it was last night. He said, the thing is here is that I can accept you as a Jew. The problem is you can't accept me as a Jew. And that was I went, wow. So
I believe that was a resonating moment for you in this awakening.
Yes.
Because don't forget, Gaja was getting guests on to refute me. It wasn't until later he brought on guests to operate, to actually defend our side. The initial position of Gaja, brothers and sisters, was we got to tear this guy down. Somebody going to be able to debate and overcome him. He brought in Christians. He brought in Arabs. I mean, he brought in everything, and their mama. And when this happened, I think the light came on for Gaja on another level. But what you were saying on that, I don't want to miss your point, Gaja. I'm sorry, but go on.
No, I'm saying that he like you said, he was acknowledging a lot of things quietly, without trying to bring it out to the public. Like he said, I can accept you as a Jew. It's like saying, I know you're a Jew, but what about me? And, I think you said to him, well, listen, right now, let the people know who they are. Tell these people who they are.
Yeah.
And when I was trying to get the rabbi for the radio program, the synagogue I called told me that they heard about the program going on.
Mm.
And I was like, what?
Of course they heard about it.
They said, we've heard about we've heard about it. And I'm like, okay. Like that for me, that was shocking. Like, here's a little program. If people don't know, the radio station, Peace FM, is located in Mossad. All right, so Mossad is the Nazareth or the ghetto or the hood, as you would put it. You with me?
Yeah.
Of Manchester. You understand? It is what it is. So to hear rabbis and Jewish people from within a 20-mile radius listening in to Peace FM,
Yeah.
hearing what was going on, it was something that was shocking for me. You understand? A lot of things were happening in that studio that were shocking, Even going into the new Abics, that was a lot of shocking things were going on because I was seeing it firsthand. When people come and sit down in that studio, it's like going into a boxing ring. You can't come out. You can't just, the online radio, it's okay because people can call in, people can hang up, people can do whatever. But when you're doing terrestrial radio and there's a guest in front of you, it's sink or swim.
Yeah.
You with me?
It's a spiritual octagon.
Yeah.
It's like, because why? You don't want to be the one who left the cage, right?
Yep.
Like, you don't want to be the one who tapped out. So a lot of them felt prisoner. It's like, hold up, I don't want to lose my credibility. I can't refute. I can't leave. That's why the first guy was sweating bullets.
Yeah.
But go on.
That's why he sat down for so long. Even this rabbi here.
Yeah.
Because we were only supposed to be on for like 2 hours tops.
Yeah.
And those broadcasts went on into the morning.
Yeah. And guess what? That's why I'm so glad we're doing it. It's the irony of us doing a late night broadcast, because Peace FM would start at 10 and we would go to 5 in the morning. And guess what? Text was still coming in as if the show just started.
Yeah, man.
And you know what? And guess what? They love that, because with every text, they were getting paid money in the UK. And guess what? This was a late night show. They intentionally put us in a slot that had less listeners. And guess what? It was the most talked about show, 10 to 5 in the morning. The most talked about show. And guess what? For them to get ratings for these other shows, they had to invite us on the earlier shows so that they can get some of the, some of the notoriety that was happening with Gaja.
What some of them was doing, they were actually, our show was a talking point for their discussion for the talk shows. Yeah. So did you hear what was going on last night on search engine?
And they would make a new broadcast, listening to the broadcast. Man, what a moment in the earth, which led to thousands of people getting baptized. I'm going to tell you, all praise be to the Most High. Let's hear this out, and then we'll answer a few calls. 515-605-9327. And we got to do this again. But I just wanted to reflect back, especially with Elder Lawyer going over there. And I'm going to go back over there soon with Shapat coming back over here for a minute. I just wanted, it came around full circle to have me appreciate that time within this ministry. It was the Most High who sent us out there. It was the Most High at a key moment, folks. And this was before there was any such thing as podcasts. Yeah, remember that?
I was just thinking that. I was just thinking, listen, we were doing podcasts before podcasts became podcasts.
Yes, because I just had my computer open, recording the conversation in the radio because I wanted to give it another dynamic. This is before YouTube had live streams. So I would record it and upload it on the channel. Let me hear.
But we must identify the people. Like, for instance, there's 4 separate families of Africans.
Right.
You have the Canaanites, which are predominantly today the South Africans. You have Pawut, which are the North Africans. You have
I have to correct that. Back then, I was teaching some of the other doctrine that I came off from. But the Canaanites aren't the South Africans. Geography shows us that the Canaanites were from Canaan, which is North Africa. So all 4 families of Ham come from North Africa. Let me make a disclaimer there.
Ethiopians, which are Cushites, and you have Mizraim, which are Egyptians. Those are four families of Africans that our people, the black people in America, the West Indies, and Haiti, do not come from any of those four families. And a matter of fact,
Where do the black people come from?
I'm going to show you.
Listen.
And a matter
He asked, where do the black people come from? I just read Deuteronomy 28 for you.
matter of fact, in your Zondervan Bible Dictionary, right? Zondervan so happened to be Jewish, okay? I know it doesn't make any difference to you, but I thought I would say that for the listeners. When you go into Ham,
Keep the commandments. That's the main thing.
okay, and you know what? You hit it home. I'm glad you hitting that home. But we're going to bring forth some facts here. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood.
He's being taught, folks. He's being taught.
And one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor, which means the father of the dark races. What do it say right there? What does it say? You read it.
Not the Negroes.
Not the what?
Negroes.
Not the Negroes.
Not the what? Not the what? Not the what? Maybe if you don't want to hear it from us, our people, maybe you'll hear it from those you respect.
But you hit it home. I'm glad you hitting that home. But we're going to bring forth some facts here. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor, which means the father of the dark races. What do it say right there? What does it say? You read it.
Not the Negroes.
Not the what?
Negroes.
Not the Negroes. So even
Man,
Zondervan know that the Negroes.
Let me tell you. He's whispering it. Negroes. Look at this. Come on, put some bass in your voice. Where the bass at?
So if you hold on, if
He's whispering. I mean, come on, man.
if you clip the words he says, he starts off saying ham, and then you fast forward to the next words he say, not the Negroes. Ham, not the Negroes.
I mean, put some bass in it. I'm like, yeah, Negroes. Come on, man. Where's the force? You a man. Let's hear it.
I know it doesn't make any difference to you, but I thought I would say that for the listeners. When you go into Ham,
Keep the commandments. That's the main thing.
okay, and you know what? You hit it home. I'm glad you hitting that home.
Don't
But we're going to
worry
bring
about
forth
who
some
you
facts
are.
here. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood.
That's easy.
He became the progenitor, which means the father of the dark races. What do it say right there? What does it say? You read it.
Not the Negroes.
Not the what?
Negroes.
Not the Negroes. So even Zondervan know that the Negroes are people that were sold and called Negroes were not part of these 4 families. But it says, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, that's the North Africans, and Canaanites. So someone know that the Negroes, and don't forget, on the bill of sale during the time of slavery, they did not have Africans on the bill of sale. I have an actual bill of sale or a picture of it.
Now, I need y'all to look at the bottom of that bill of sale, which says J.F. Moses. And you'll understand who was selling the slaves.
It said Negroes. It never said Africans. So whoever sold us and actually financed the slave boats knew that these people were different than the Hamitic races in the land of Ham. So someone had been perpetrating a fraud, is what we're trying to say. And today, the same people you see suffering in these ghettos all over the earth, we're telling them what you're telling them right now, Yaakov. It's time to follow the commandments. These are the people. It's a changing of hands in this earth. And that's why there's mass genocide and an orchestrated target towards these people. These people are the children of God.
Whoa. And it shall be said that the Gentiles will come through from the four corners of the earth, Gaja, and they'll stand before us and they'll admit, surely our fathers have inherited lies. And see, what I wanted to show as an example, as a teacher, through the Spirit of the Most High, we've done it. I've done it the other way. Right? I grew up a young man in my early 20s, Israeli school of UPK, and before it was switched to Israeli Church of UPK. Now, when it turned to Israeli Church of God in Jesus Christ, I was nothing to do with that.